It's Carter Griffin here, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with Danny Brago. And what are you most looking forward to tonight at the banquet?
Wow, I tell you what, I mean, honestly, this is maybe the best day for all of us, right? Because we get to celebrate all the accomplishments that have taken place during these past 12 months. And it's from every team, from 8U all the way up through 18U. Plus, it's about what's been going on with our current guys playing in college, our current guys playing in the minors. I think we've had 4 guys make it up to the major leagues this year. So really, this is a celebration of everything that has taken place during these last 12 months. And now we get to share it with the whole 643 family. And just truly, I mean, I get goosebumps talking about it. It's just what an amazing day that we get to just share great stories. And man, and how about this, man? I'm looking at maybe one of the best future broadcasters in the country, you know, that's interviewing me right now. So again, just what a cool moment for me being a part of what could be possibly your future.
John Dickerson, Piedmont. Ryan McClellan, Covenant College. Reagan Cochran, Maryville College. Hank Jones, Covenant College. Joey Blomberg, Augusta University. Isaac Green, Barry to pursue football. Ryan Zaporaniak, Sewanee. Chase Hammock, LaGrange. Ethan Hall, USC Aiken. Ethan Goodhart, Stanford pursuing academics. Nick Thompson, Bama, going to Chattanooga State. Ada Petracca, Sewanee. Jacob Bahacek, Georgia Gwinnett. Bryce Faust, Savannah State. Jacob Arnberger, Western Carolina. Sam Rosenthal, University of Georgia. Eli Hardage, Young Harris. Carter Barth, Brown. Silas Cunningham, Coastal Alabama. Joshua Greenspan, Tampa University. Austin Nance, Young Harris. Logan Campbell, Southern Union. Dylan Mayers, Texas A&M, pursuing football. Billy Crispin, Stanford. Theo Angel, UGA, academic pursuits. Wesley Labrook, TCU, academic pursuits. Logan Lutz, Ole Miss, academic pursuits. Blake Fielden, UGA, academic pursuits. Fletcher Heacock, Georgia Highlands. Gavin Pilger. Michael Foster, Georgia Knights Athletics. Donovan White, Morehouse. Braden Bassett, Alabama, for academics. Jackson Davis, Eckerd College. Boomer Dunn, Valdosta State. Mac Barnett, UGA, pursuing academics. Andrew Lewis, Georgia Southern, pursuing academics. Torrin Hamilton, Bruton Parker. Nate Jones, Covenant College. Noah Jones, GCSU, for academics. Ryan McClellan, Covenant College. Parker Beard, Georgia Southern, pursuing academics. Jamie Tolvey, North Georgia, pursuing academics. Alex Whiteside, Dyersburg State. Please join me in a round of applause for our class. I'd like to take a moment to recognize a few players that are here today. Will the following players in attendance please stand up? Aiden Zagrin, Carson Zagrin, Peyton Robideau, Jackson Rose, Carson and Dominic, Jack Richardson, and Griffin Long. You got any of those guys here? These 7 players were selected by Prep Baseball Report, PBR, to play in their most talented and scout event of the year, the Future Games. These guys did great, got on a big stage, and I think a couple of them are on the Georgia team. We had 1 guy on the select team, or 2 guys on the select team, so really cool for these guys to compete on that stage.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with Griffin Long. And Griffin, we heard that you made the PBR Futures game. What was that experience like?
It was fun. It was fun meeting new guys. Like, I didn't play on Team Georgia, but I played for Team Select. There was a bunch of kids from Hawaii. It was fun learning how they go about their game, how they go about their routines before the games and stuff.
I'm here with the Long family, and what did you enjoy with it being your first year at 643?
Yeah, I think it was a big change for Griffin. I think the support from the teammates, that being top to bottom, and the support from the parents, was great. It helped us relax a whole lot and helped him relax to perform.
And what did you enjoy about seeing your son play for 643 this year?
I think I enjoyed seeing his confidence, the teammates supporting him, the family supporting him. It was definitely a big change for us, but I'm excited to see what next year has in store for him.
Our first 3 awards have been selected by our Academy staff, consistent with 643's focus on developing teamwork and its powerful attributes. We feel strongly as an organization that it's very important to celebrate the team concept. Tonight, we spotlight 3 talented teams in the following categories: Outstanding Tournament Performance, Most Improved Team, and Team of the Year. First, the award for Outstanding Tournament Performance. The World with Bat National Championship is a challenging event in all ages due to the sheer number of games in a 1-week span. Teams travel from across the country to compete in this event from ages 13 to 18 every year. At the 13U World with Bat event this summer, 643 found 3 of our 4 13U teams in the top 9 seeds of bracket play after each group won their respective pools, going 5-0 and 4-1. The 13U Jaguars captured the #1 overall seed in the event, and the 13U Cougars held the #6 seed as both squads cruised by their first 2 bracket play games. The 13U Jaguars next found themselves in a hard-fought, tight semi-final battle with the talented Hard Knocks Royals squad. Trailing 2-0 in the 4th inning, Andrew Nelson and Dylan Weems both turned in to wear the on-base armor for their teams. With 2 outs and 2 hit batters on base, one of the Jags' hottest hitters during the event, Chase Mickelson, came up to the plate and blasted a 3-run home run, which ultimately led the Jaguars to a 6-3 win and a national championship game berth. On another field about 20 yards across at East Cobb, the 13U Cougars were also competing in a back-and-forth semifinal war against the Kentucky Baseball Club. Back and forth, both teams went through the first 7 innings before heading to extra innings, still tied. The 13U Cougars chose to hand the bat to a pinch hitter in the 8th inning. Jaden Smith, who had been battling injuries in the end of the summer, I think he was even wearing shorts in the dugout of this game. He had no intention of playing, wearing Crocs, shorts. They grabbed him a bat, dressed him up. Just in the video here, I think you can actually see his knees outside his legs. So Jaden comes to the plate with bases loaded, tie game. Everyone's nervous. Both teams are watching. We got the Jags watching the other field. 2 strikes. Let's take a look what happened. So 2 outs, bases loaded, tie game. Here we go. Here come all the Jags from the other field. Cool. So what happened next? 2 teams that practiced together each week from August to July, played against each other numerous times throughout the season, played one more time for a national championship. Both squads displayed their terrific pitching and defense throughout the contest, finding themselves in a 0-0 nut cutter through the first 6 innings. Nut cutter, I got that one from Coach Holloway. That's his word. The Cougars, thank you guys, this is good. Let's laugh it out. So nut cutter, 0-0 through the first 6. The Cougars scored 3 runs at the top of the 7th to take the lead. RJ Westbrook came in for the Cougs and closed the door, securing the Cougs' national championship victory. Both teams represented 643 extremely well throughout the week and handled themselves with class despite all the highs and lows of the event. Please join me in congratulating, sharing, and the both deserving recipients of the 2024 Outstanding Tournament Performance Award for finishing 1st and 2nd in the 13U PG WWBA 5480 National Championship. The 13U Cougars, led by head coach Danny Peraldo, assistant coaches Andrew Rolfs and Wes Newsom, and the 13U Jaguars, led by head coach Eric Brasher and his assistant coach Matt Nelson. Give it up for the Cougs and Jags.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with
Wyatt Newsom on the 13U Cougars.
And
Alex Adair on the 13U Tigers.
what was one of the cool things about the 13U Cougars this year?
Definitely going to Omaha, Nebraska and playing the tournament.
Okay. And what was one of the nice things about the Tigers this year?
I love going to Omaha and losing to them, but we still got 2nd, so that was really cool.
All of our teams improved in some way over the course of the 2024 season. The 14 Panthers and the 15 Tigers both showed marked improvement over the season, for example. However, another team stood out in terms of development and competitive strides. Moving from the 12U to 13U age group can be a struggle for players and teams facing bigger fields, heavier bats, and a lack of physicality throughout the lineup. However, this team navigated smoothly and cruised past their early season expectations with steady success. After a slow start to the fall, this team captured 2 Sunday Series wins heading into the spring, which really boosted their confidence. This group made it to the semifinals of 7 different events in the spring, as well as 3 championships, winning 1 and runner-up in the other 2. They had various injuries pop up over the course of the season, but the players never panicked. According to their head coach, this team was great because guys continued to step up and pick each other up throughout the spring and summer. The kids played for one another, demonstrating a consistent stream of grit and continuity. This band of brothers secured a 38-17 record and had a ton of fun doing so. By every measure, this is a great season for the team, especially being a 3rd team in their age group. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the winners of the 2024 Most Improved Team Award, the 13U Tigers, led by head coach Marshall Adams and assistant. We will present the award for Team of the Year. Legendary UCLA basketball coach John Wooden once said, "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you need a team." Youth sports and travel baseball in particular have found themselves in somewhat of a showcase era. In a world where the majority seem to care most about their individual importance or performance, we are very proud to celebrate the power of togetherness and brotherhood that the 643 teams display on a yearly basis. 12U Jaguars won over 50 games and were consistent throughout the course of their season. The 14U Jaguars won over 60 games and knocked off big-time opponents all year. 12U Cougars seized 87 wins between the fall and summer, winning 10 tournament championships. The 13U Cougars won 79 games, also winning 10 events. The 16U and 17U Cougars both had success both in their age groups as well as playing up in age for over half of their games. One team stood out above the rest as the 643 staff evaluated their resume, rigor of schedule, and dugout atmosphere. This group played selfless team baseball, and their coach says he knew they were a gritty bunch right from the start. Over the course of 70 games, the Team of the Year hit .324 and had an on-base percentage of .454 while swiping over 230 bases. Their pitching staff struck out 291 opposing hitters through 307 innings. They came together to win multiple events throughout the season, including a dog pile at the renowned, grueling PBR National Program Invitational event. Most importantly, this awesome group of young men loved each other, and each player loved competing for the guy next to them. Behind every great team, there are great players and great coaches. This group excelled at being great people. Please join me in congratulating the 2024 Team of the Year, led by head coach Tucker Breen and his assistant coaches Shane Hammond, Michael Fuller, and Kyle Demore, the 15U Cougars.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with Kyle Montgomery from the 15U Cougs. And Kyle, how was your experience this year with it being your first time playing with 643?
It was great. I loved how much we played, how often I was with the team, the bond we made, and, it was cool.
How was the MPI that you guys played at PBR?
The MPI was awesome. I actually want to wear the shirt today, but no one else wanted to. And, it's great winning a national tournament, and so is the dog pile.
Moving on to our all-defensive and all-offensive teams. In an effort to celebrate our student athletes in special ways, we have created special awards with support from our partners at New Balance and Marucci. Special thanks out to Joey Galensky from Marucci for being on site today to help hand out the offensive awards. 643 is most grateful for our sponsors, their spirit of partnership, and continued support of 643. The next set of awards, the all 643 defensive and offensive teams, place a spotlight on select players from across our organization that played boldly, with confidence, and achieved a high level of performance on defense or offense. In short, these athletes were real game changers on the field this season, and tops within our entire organization of talented young athletes. To announce the list of talented ball players named the 2024 643 All Defensive Team presented by New Balance and the 2024 All Offensive Team presented by Marucci, please welcome to the podium 643 alum, current staff member, instructor, and coach Tucker Breen, followed by 643 staff member, instructor, and coach Marshall Adams.
Thanks, Jake. Good afternoon, everyone. Starting us off was a player that had a very high fielding percentage. Actually recorded 67 putouts and 3 outfield assists as well. His ability to play all 9 positions at any time made him a valuable defensive piece for his team. From the 10U Jags, Dylan Chittis. Got it, thanks. Up next, this player's coach said he was the best right fielder he's ever had at any age group. He gets unbelievable reads on every type of play and made multiple game-saving catches. He only had 2 errors on the year. From the 13U Jags, William Bouchard. Elevated his defense behind the plate. He works to steal strikes, blocks extremely well, and is accurate at throwing base runners out. He also has advanced actions at multiple spots in the infield. From the 13U Cougs, Mario Esparza de Luna. This next guy was a brick wall behind the plate all year. He only allowed 3 pass balls and 110 innings catching to a staff that only threw 55% strikes of the time. Sorry, that only threw 55% strikes of the time. From the 16U Cougs, Liam McCabe. What this next player lacks in size, he makes up for it with his heart and work ethic. He led the Jags with a .971 fielding percentage. He had 71 total chances and only 2 errors. He also made 3 game-saving diving catches. From the 12U Jags, Marco Santarelli. This player has all the intangibles it takes to be a great catcher. He runs the show and controls the running game extremely well. From the 14U Jags, Kyle Coleman. I personally had the pleasure to watch this kid play defense the entire year, and he is one of the best defenders I have ever seen. He was our everyday center fielder and had a natural ability to make the hard play look so routine because of his speed and reads off the bat. From the 15 Cougs, Win Hoots. This next guy is a natural-born leader behind the plate with high-level actions. He receives well and has a crazy quick in-game pop time throwing guys out. He sees the game well and is always thinking about ways to help his team defensively. From the 17 Cougs, Carson Vick. This next one is one of the most nationally gifted athletes to ever come through 6'4", His reads and 90+ mile-per-hour arm from the outfield makes him one of the top defensive outfielders in the country. He's also one of the better infielders in the Southeast because of his range and ability to throw from all angles. From the 17 Cougs, John Stutzer. This kid performed mostly at shortstop, but also excelled in the outfield. He has soft hands, quick feet, and a plus arm. He's extremely dependable, especially in the biggest moments. He only had 5 errors and 82 chances. From the 10 Cougs, Luke Pyron. This next guy is a lockdown center fielder. He has great reaction times to balls and gaps and gets to the balls that most guys can't get to. His throws are always accurate and always has a great feel for long hops. He is versatile and also plays every spot on the field. From the 12 Cougs, Andy Perkins. This next guy played mostly middle infield for his team. He was a lockdown defender and could make plays that most couldn't. He played with energy and had the biggest smile you'd ever see after making a sweet play. From the 9 Cougs, Carter Brown. Lastly, this player steals the low ball and controls the running game, as well as any young catcher in his age group. From the 15U Jags, Jackson Lloyd. Give it up one more time for all defensive team.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with.
Carson Vick.
Jackson Rose.
And I hear that you guys had a big game against the Astros at East Cobb this year. How was that?
That was awesome. Actually, I caught and he pitched that game, and we went into 9 innings with them and ended up winning on a double play. So it was awesome.
It's great.
Yeah, I started pitching that game. It was a hot day. We just came off a win. We were in the semis hoping to take down the Stros, and we did. Not a greater feeling than beating the Astros.
Good afternoon. It is with great pleasure that I get to announce 643's all-offensive team for the 2023-2024 season. To start us off, on the AU Cougs, he carried his team's offense this season with a .694 average, a 1.782 OPS, and a 1.032 slugging. He also led his teams in runs scored, RBIs, and only had 5 strikeouts on the entire year. Mr. Asher Johnson. From the 12U Cougs, this player was described as a spark plug for his team. He hit over 500 for his average with almost a 1.400 OPS, along with having 8 home runs, 105 runs scored, 92 RBIs, and 38 stolen bases. Mr. Andy Perkins. Also from the 12U Cougs, he was known to be a centerpiece for an already dominant offensive lineup. Said to be incredibly consistent week in and week out, and was a huge run producer, accumulating 214 runs and RBIs combined on the season. Mr. James Whittingham. From the 12U Jaguars, this player was known to be a leader on and off the field. He led his team in average, hitting .491, with 8 doubles, 6 triples, 4 home runs, 52 RBIs, and 54 stolen bases. Mr. Timothy Alexander Jr. From the 12U Tigers, he was known as a crucial part of the team's offensive production, hitting .481 on the air with 9 doubles, 3 triples, 9 home runs, and 28 stolen bases with only 6 strikeouts on the entire season, Mr. Justin Wilson. From the 13U Cougars, this player hit for an average of .438 with 37 singles, 14 doubles, 4 triples, 2 home runs, and 58 RBIs. And if that wasn't enough, when he actually played his actual age and grade at 12U, he hit for an average of .600 with an additional 9 doubles, 3 home runs, and 20 more RBIs, Mr. Luke Rolfs. Also from the 13U Cougs, this player put up some video game style numbers this year, including batting .459 for his average, a 1.460 OPS, producing 65 hits, 13 doubles, 4 triples, 17 home runs, and 151 runs batted in and runs scored combined, Mr. Rylan Long. From the 13U Tigers, this player was described by his teammates as the team leader. As coaches, we described him as special from the first time we watched him play. He led the team in average with a .431, 600 OBP, 12 doubles, 9 triples, 3 home runs, 117 combined runs produced with 38 stolen bases, and he also wore 30 pitches at the plate. Mr. Liam Cates. From the 14U Jaguars, this player was described as an offensive weapon by his coach, with the ability to manufacture runs by himself when needed. He batted .447 on the season with a .526 OBP, 9 extra base hits, 1 home run, 78 runs scored, and 81 stolen bases, Mr. Braden Slorin. From the 15U Cougs, he was seen to be one of the biggest pieces at the plate for the team and always found a way to put the bat on the ball. He led his team in almost every single major offensive category, including batting average, OBP, RBIs, and total hits, Mr. Evan Brand. From the 16U Cougs, this player set the tone as a leadoff hitter for their team and was always a tough out. He found tons of barrels and multiple singles turned into doubles. He had a 360 average with an OBP of 454, and he also hit 11 doubles, 5 triples, 4 home runs, and stole 23 bags, Mr. Jack Reese. From our 17U Jaguars, this player was described as an offensive force. He led his team on the year, hitting .357, slugging .602, had a 1.086 OPS with 35 RBIs, 4 home runs, which 2 of those were grand slams, and he also won the MVP for the 17U PG Independence Day Classic, Mr. Shine Barron. And to finish us off, from the 17U Cougs, he was described as an offensive machine on the year. He would grind out 0-2 counts, would wear pitches at the plate, would read the defense to find multiple ways on base. When we talk about motor, we think of this kid, pushing barreled singles into hustle doubles, balls in the gap into stand-up triples, and could find a cadence on any pitcher to steal second and third at any time. Not to mention when he showed off his pop during the 17U WWPA and the 17U Hoover Elite tournaments, sending low to mid-90s back over the wall. Mr. Mason Galloway. Please give it up one more time for your 2023.
Is there anything that you're really looking forward to tonight for the awards banquet?
I'd say overall just super excited to get everyone together, because that's what this is all about really. Is there's really rare times in today's world where, you know, with how online we all are, how connected, where everyone's in the same place. So it's going to be really, really cool getting a couple hundred families together to celebrate, you know, the great year of great players like you, great families, and, you know, great coaches. So it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome.
The person receiving this award today brings the passion, energy, and dedication that embodies what it means to be a coach at 643. He brings the juice every single day, and his value to this organization cannot be put into words. I don't think the word no is in this guy's vocabulary. If he is asked to be somewhere, he is there, no questions asked, and probably throwing BP before the head coach even gets there. He is very mature when it comes to seeing the game, and acts as old as any of us when it comes to roster moves or in-game decisions, but is also able to relate to the players and earn their trust more than anyone else. As good as this guy is at coaching, his leadership and mentorship is the best of the best. He leads by example and is an incredible mentor to all of these young kids. This past year, he helped a number of teams from the 11U Cougars to the 16 Tigers, 15 Cougs, 14 Jags, 14 Tigers, and many more. He has so many teams right-hand man, especially when their head coach cannot be there. He was in the dugout for a lot of big wins for our organization this past year, taking down a couple championships with 11 Cougs, to winning a championship and making it to the round of 32 at the 16 Royal Bat with the 16 Tigers, a couple of tournament wins with the 14 Cougs and 14 Jags, being in the dugout for the 16 Cougs win against the San Diego Padres scout team in the 16 Royal Bat, and also the 15 Cougars championship game at the MPI. Even though he is winning Assistant Coach of the Year for this year, he is capable and so talented that we may be here in a couple years giving him the Head Coach of the Year award. Without further ado, the 2024 Assistant Coach of the Year is Mr. Kyle Moore.
We will now be handing out and announcing announcing the recipient of the Kelly and Mike Price Merit-Based Scholarship for one or two of our graduating seniors. To announce the award, please welcome to the podium from our foundation, Miss Mary Lippman.
Thanks. Teamwork makes the dream work. I first want to say a quick thank you to the 13U Jaguars and the 14U Panthers for donating their remaining team funds to the foundation. We appreciate those gifts very much. For the past 11 years, the 643 Foundation has awarded the Kelly and Mike Price Scholarship Award to a graduated senior from within the 643 family who has worked hard in the classroom and on the field, participated in his community, and shown his desire to be a good teammate, both on and off the field. To date, we have awarded over $16,000 to deserving college-bound 643 student athletes. This year, we were thrilled to have 3 applications, all from smart, talented, and well-rounded young men, and we appreciate their taking the time to apply. However, one young man stood out to us, and I want to tell you a little bit about him. His story is one of perseverance, on and off the field, and adversity. He worked hard in a tough high school program and graduated with a 4.5 GPA. He made an impact on his teachers and fellow students by showing a great attitude, respect, sportsmanship, and character. On the baseball field, he was a hard worker and a team player. In his own words, learning to work together towards a common goal, communicate effectively, and support one another created a sense of camaraderie and mutual respect. His love of baseball has been lifelong and provided him with a sense of purpose during a time of immense personal tragedy. This year's Kelly and Mike Price Scholarship Award goes to 2024 Campbell High School IB graduate William Blosser. To accept this award. He will continue his baseball and academic career at Covenant College.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with Mike Fuller, and he is the 14 and 15U Cougs coach. Mike, how did it feel to be in the hotel room watching the MPI?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sucked not being able to be there with the boys at Lake Point, but I think it was really, really cool being able to watch with Coach Holly and Coach Jake in Hoover and watch it on TV. I thought that was one of the coolest parts, and being able to celebrate from afar, I'll take it.
To introduce today's guest speaker of honor, please welcome to the podium 643 officer and staff member, Jay Andrews.
Thank you, Jay, and good afternoon, everyone. It is my honor to introduce our guest speaker this afternoon. But before we bring Coach Weisberg to the stage to deliver his message to our 643 family, let me take a minute or two to just share some information about his background. Jan Weisberg was recently named the head baseball coach at Valdosta State University. This took place shortly after the closing of Birmingham Southern College and the ceasing of operations of all sports programs at the college. On August 15, 2006, Jan Weisberg was named the 11th head baseball coach at Birmingham Southern School history. He completed 16 seasons with the Panthers, compiling a final cumulative record of 464 wins, 188 losses, and 1 tie. In the final 2024 season, Birmingham Southern earned a 33-16 record and came up just short of a trip to the semifinals in the D3 World Series, losing an exciting 11-10 game to Wisconsin Whitewater. D3Baseball.com recognized Birmingham Southern as the 4th winningest program in the country in the 2010s under Weisberg, with 4 student athletes making the all-decade team. BSC had the 2nd most individuals recognized as one of the 4 programs to earn 2 first-teamers. After the 2020 season was cut short due to our fun friend COVID-19, Weisberg and his staff came into 2021 looking to repeat the 2019 season. The Panthers finished the season 28-16 overall and 14-10 in conference play. The Panthers would wound up finishing 3rd in regular season, but won the SAA Conference Tournament, defeating Berry 25-4 in a winner-take-all championship game. BSC got the automatic qualifier to the NCAA tournament and wound up in the High Point, North Carolina Regional. The Panthers finished regional runner-up after losing to the eventual national champion Salisbury 9-6. In 2019, Weisberg led the Panthers to the NCAA National Championship Series after advancing through the World Series undefeated. BSC earned its first trip to the dance by sweeping Co in the Super Regional and fending off LaGrange in the regionals. The fastest coach in BSC history to reach 300 wins, Weisberg is BSC's second winningest coach in program history. He has led the Panthers to 8 30-plus win seasons during his tenure, 5 Southern Athletic Association regular season titles, and 4 conference tournament championships. The 2019 season proved historic for the Panthers under Weisberg. They finished the season as the national runner-up with a program record of 42 wins. For the 6th consecutive year, BSC claimed the SAA Pitcher of the Year award. Weisberg was named Coach of the Year for the 4th time, and 11 Panthers earned all conference honors. 2017 saw 10 Panthers recognized on all conference teams after going 19-2 in conference play. 4 others earned all region honors. After earning the regular season title, the Panthers advanced to the NCAA Division III Central Regional Championship before falling to the eventual national championship in the national semifinalists. Ranked as high as number 2 during the year, they finished the season ranked number 10. In 2016, he led the Panthers to a 39-13 overall record, the most program wins in 13 years, and a 17-4 record against Southern Athletic Association opponents. The team captured the conference regular season and tournament titles and was ranked as high as number 2 in the nation. It marked their 3rd straight regular season championship. Weisberg earned SAA Coach of the Year honors, while 10 Panthers picked up all conference nods. 4 others were named to all region teams, and the Panthers concluded the season ranked number 6 nationally. In his first 5 seasons on the Hilltop, Weisberg posted an impressive 150-54 record after leading the Panther baseball program through the tradition to Division III. For his efforts, Weisberg was named 2010 Alabama Coach of the Year by the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association and Southern Collegiate Athletic Association or Conference Co-Coach of the Year. In 2012, he was named the D3Baseball.com Southern Region Coach of the Year. In Weisberg's time at BSC, the Panthers have won 3 regular season Southern Athletic Association titles, 2014 through 16, 1 SAA Tournament Championship in 2016, 4 SCAC Eastern Division Championships, 2019-2012. In 2012, they won the SCAC Tournament Championship and finished in the NCAA Central Regional Championship game after earning the number 1 ranking in the Southern Region with a 31-7 regular season record. From 2008 to 2012, 33 players earned all conference honors under Weisberg's watch. The accolades include 3 Panthers who were named Freshman of the Year in the SCAC, 2 players earned SCAC Player of the Year awards, and 1 earned SCAC Pitcher of the Year recognition. In addition to SCAC awards, 17 players earned All South Region awards as well, and 6 players received All-America recognition. Prior to coming to BSC, Weisberg led Transylvania University to a 2nd place regular season finish in the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference, the highest finish ever in the school history, and to its first ever conference tournament berth in 2006. He had 7 players earn all conference honors, implemented academic strategies which helped raise the team GPA from 2.83 to 2.95. Weisberg also created the first ever support group that raised over 15% of the 2006 budget and directed the school's first ever summer baseball camps and had over 300 attendees. Before Transylvania, Weisberg spent 1991 through 2005 as a player and coach at the University of Kentucky. He earned 2 varsity letters in 1991 and 1992, helping the Wildcats to a then school record 41 wins and an NCAA regional berth in 1991. In 1992, the team captain finished the year ranked 5th on the single-season RBI list. Weisberg played at San Jose City College from 1987 to 1990 before signing with the University of Kentucky. He helped San Jose City College to a California Junior League Final Four appearance in 1989 and was voted team captain in 1990. He moved into the coaching ranks as a graduate assistant from 1993 to 1994 before moving up to a full-time assistant in 1994-1995. Weisberg added the tag of recruiting coordinator in 1999, serving in that capacity until his departure in 2005. He had 3 top 25 recruiting classes, and 60% of UK players earned a GPA of 3.0 or higher during that stint. He also coordinated a team offense, instructed hitters, catchers and infielders, and coached third base. In 2000, the UK offense set new school mark for slugging percentage. He and his wife, Alyssa, have 2 sons, JT and Evan. Weisberg earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in economics from the University of Kentucky in 1993. What a resume. Quite the Bible. Now, without further delay, I give you the Valdosta State University head baseball coach, Jan Weisberg.
Good afternoon. I promise I will keep it shorter than that intro. 2 things. I'll keep it shorter than intro, and I will not use the word nut cutter. But I will keep that for my team. That's a good one. That is a good one. When Danny called, it's easy for me to say yes. I don't know. It's really cool. Not many travel ball organizations might this even be a possibility. But I think I spoke 6 years ago, and maybe there are some guys that were on an 11-year-old or 12-year-old team that might be here now, and that's a pretty cool thing. It's a really, really easy thing for me to say yes to. The last 17 years I was in a really special place, a place that we did some very special things. He mentioned with the 4th winningest program. Division III is the largest division. There's 408 schools, so the 4th out of 408 is pretty good. The last 5 years has been 2 World Series and 4 Super Regionals. And you can't do that, obviously, without great people. And when Danny called, it's simple for me to say yes. What that bio didn't say, and probably one of the most important things, is how important this organization and the people that have come from this organization have been to our success. No matter what they read about me in the bio, it's all about what players do on the field. It's all about the culture that you can create. And 643 is always at the top of our list as we start, and have been numerous. By far, the most players than any other program in the Southeast. And there's a reason for that for us. We know that with a 6'4" player, we're going to get a talented guy. I know that I'm going to get a player that can compete. I know that I'm going to get a player that knows the game. But I think more importantly, what you don't get from many travel organizations now, where everything is just strictly transactional. What can you do for me on the field, or else you're going to go, or the player is going to go. But truly understand a little bit more about what team is. And that's so important. So many times that their teams have gotten deep into tournaments and we're out scouting and it's late in a WWBA event or something like that. And, they're pitching on fumes because they're on their 8th game in 4 days. And he's not bringing in ringers, right? He's bringing kids up maybe that are younger, a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old to play on the 18 UT to give them that opportunity. And there's not many organizations that are doing that. And so when I get them, and when other college coaches get them, right, it adds so much value and it makes that transition for us so much easier. So I say that to say, rest assured, you're in a really good place. Not just for where you are right now at 12 through 18, but as far as starting to get into the recruiting process about what a college coach knows he's going to get from someone in this program, but the transition to college is going to be so much better and so much easier. I know we're getting players that have been developed. You know, so many programs, it's just about coming Thursday through Sunday. It's not about any development that happens. I think one of the biggest things for me is, like, I don't like this NIL and transfer portal world, right? I think it is de-emphasized for us, or some college coaches, the art and emphasis on developing a person and developing talent. It's simply, if you can't do it, I'll just go out and get somebody else. And one of the things that I loved about getting 6'4" players is they've been coached. And these guys do coach, and they do care. Yeah, it's a very unfortunate situation. I'm not going to go into a ton of the details about what happened. As great as our program is, and as great as our institution was, it was probably one of the top 2 or 3 academic institutions in Alabama, right? A tragic thing happens, and it goes away. And our guys have to find somewhere else to play. And we're sitting there with 30 players that are eligible, you know, to go have eligibility left. And Danny and the staff are in the foxhole with their former 6'4" guys, helping them find a home. 2, 3, 4, for some guys 5 with COVID, years after they played in this program. That doesn't happen many places. So know you're in a really, really special place. Tonight I'm just going to talk a little bit about just a couple of things that I think all of us probably know, all of us have probably heard, and I think coaches have preached about as you talk about teams. You know, this is a team that is the only team in NCAA history to compete for an NCAA championship in the World Series for a school that doesn't exist. Graduation was May 24th, the doors closed May 31st, our first World Series game was June 1st. And the story gained some national attraction. I thought it was pretty cool because I think it highlighted a pretty special thing. You know, we talk about this world of NIL and transfer portal and what some people think is a selfish, outlook on things. What we've done over the last 17 years, we've never lost one kid to the portal. I've never brought in one kid from the portal, and it's different, obviously, at Division III level, but our kids have that opportunity. Out of the players that are moving on, I've got 6 going to Division I schools, and I've got 10 guys going to Division II schools. So at any time, those guys could have left and said, man, let me go do something a little bit bigger, a little bit better, but nobody did. And I think for a lot of coaches have called me, a lot of my peers, I've still got a lot of friends that are coaching in the SEC and things like that, and they loved our story because it was refreshing to see that in this moment of crisis, you know, they say most of my guys would have just thought about where do I have to be next year, just kind of checked out. And for us, just to set a little backstory, we'll watch a little bit of a clip on a documentary they did about it here in a second. But, you know, in addition to school closing and not knowing what was going to happen to them next year, this was a very atypical year for us. Yeah, we've been to 3 regionals, super regionals, and a World Series in the last 4 years. But this team was struggling a little bit. Before we got the news, this cloud that was hanging over, and we played a really tough schedule. We lost a lot of players from the year before, and I thought we might figure it out. But we were sitting at 13-10. Our program has never been in 13-10. We had never been in 4th place in the conference. We'd never been lower than 2nd. So they were already fighting some things. And it would have been really easy to say, 1, man, it's just not our year, right? And then 2, when hit with this bad news, it'd been really easy to check out. But it's a team that dove in to each other and accomplished a really, really cool thing, and I'll talk about in our program. And I said, I'm not going to take much time to take us pretty much through anything. It's show up, dive in, and hang on, right? So when guys came to Birmingham Southern, they understood that they were coming to a very competitive academic environment, but a very competitive athletic environment. The 6'4" guys were never scared of that. Right? The next thing after you show up and put yourself in the game is dive in. Like, do the work necessary that's going to allow you to have success. The 6'4" guys always did that, and I appreciated that so much. And the final thing is hang on. You know, when times get tough and adversity hits, you know, when guys are going to quit in the middle of tough times, You know, are you going to have the ability to just hang on? And obviously, I think 6'4" guys did that a lot. So when our guys got this news, they were faced with choices that they had to make. And I think for you, mainly talking to you players, so life is a series of choices that you're going to make. And one choice is to give into, we're having a bad season, this is a bad thing that's happened to you. You know, for a lot of these guys, they don't have the ability to see that they will be okay. In some form or fashion, in 3 or 4 months, they're going to be okay. COVID showed some of the older guys that. They thought that was the end of the world, and they got past it. We gave them a good plan to deal with this, but I think they chose to have a unique perspective. And I told them not to put the weight of the world on their shoulders. You know, the only thing we hadn't done was win a national championship. And this was a team that might not get to a regional. In 16 years, we'd only missed a regional twice. And we had a really good run the last 4 years. And I said, the last thing you can do is put that weight. But I said, our challenge is to finish, is to close up shop the right way in the face of something really shocking, really painful, and really brutal that's bringing a lot of uncertainty into your life, right? But we're going to do it the right way. So if we're in the grocery store, we're going to stock the shelves, we're going to sweep the floor, we're going to take out the trash, we're going to get it ready for the next day, even though we don't have a next day. So the challenge to them now was not go from 4th to 1st. I mean, a World Series is the last thing on our mind. Right now, it's just get these kids through, right? Let them process this while we're grieving, while we're staying together, while we're thinking about our future next year. Can we just process this? But the challenge was to finish. And it wasn't to win a national championship. It wasn't to win a conference title. It was simply to honor all those that have been before in the last 16 years and do it the right way. And it was really interesting. Perspective changed and mindset changed. And that's kind of what I want to talk to the players about today. Is your perspective and your mindset in every situation will dictate the happiness and the success that you either will have or won't have. The perspective on our team changed at times when you go through something and you just do it over and over and over. It almost becomes a little bit of a have-to sometimes. I have to get up early and go to weights, right? I have to be at practice for 4 hours today when I got a lot of studying to do, right? There's a little bit of the have-to, right? Even for a guy that might not be pitching a ton, I have to go today and I'm probably not going to pitch, right? But it switched and it became get to. They had a finite amount of time left with their best friends, right? They had a finite amount of time left to play this game together. It became get to. I get to go to weights today. I get to go to practice today. I get to go to the park and I might have an opportunity to pitch instead of I'm probably not going to pitch and I got to go play. I think that it really emphasized now and the importance of now, of where I am. Okay, because some of you guys, I'm listening to these stats, right? 60 games won, so I'm assuming at least 75 games played, probably, right? They didn't go 60-0, right? A lot of those 75 days can just blend together if you let it. Well, our guys didn't know how much time they had left, right? The clock is ticking. It may be 2 weeks if we don't make the postseason. It may be 3 weeks if we don't win a regional. It may be 4 weeks if we don't win a super regional. It may be 5 weeks if we go to the World Series. And they had this finite amount of time. And it wasn't, we weren't 13-10 because we weren't talented. We were 13-10 because we had this black cloud of uncertainty what's going to happen with the future, right? We had this 13-10 because they were trying so hard to turn it around that they were getting in their own way. So when a little bit of failure came, the frustration level ramped up. So basically, for you young guys, the choice this made was for our guys, it gave them the freedom to just have fun right now. So they said, hey man, if I've only got 8 games left as a Panther, I'm not going to waste 1 minute of that by throwing a bat, throwing a helmet, getting pissed that I got out, right? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to waste 1 minute pressing and trying too hard. I'm just going to enjoy competing with the guy next to me. I'm not going to worry about whether I win and lose because I don't care. I'm just going to enjoy these 3 hours with my teammate. And it really brought home, right, the importance of doing that. Because so many times, guys, our guys will go to the field and it's just kind of another day. It all kind of blends together. There's nothing special about today, about right now. The great ones have that ability to right now make this special. This might be my last game. We've all heard that, right? Our guys are slapped in the face with that. It was fleshed out. They didn't run from it. They didn't hide from it. They embraced it and they enjoyed it. You didn't see one guy lope to first base the last 6 weeks of our season. You didn't see one guy come in and throw a helmet. You didn't see one guy, worry about anything. The shot you saw with the ambulance, 9 of our guys had norovirus. 2 went to the hospital. 1 went to the hospital in an ambulance during the game. 2 starters didn't play. And when you go up to a player, we had won the first game of the Super Regional, 1 game away from the World Series, and I asked him pregame, because he didn't look good, can you go? And he says, Coach, there's no chance. You know it's bad. And I turn around, my top 3 relievers are getting IVs, right? One of them falls out, he goes to the emergency room, and normally that creates just an oh crap moment, right? Like, this might end here today. And there wasn't any of that. There was a peace, and our guys didn't care. It was so what? We'll deal with it, right? I'm not going to waste the last week possibly with my teammates worrying about that. And it brought a calmness and it brought a peace. So I'd say you'll have choices, right? Put whatever you have into where you are right now. Don't just make it another day. We talk about show up, dive in, and hang on. Academically, do the work, right? You get to. Man, this is going to get me to somewhere that I want to be. I'm going to be fortunate. It's perspective, right? For our guys, it was really a thing about perspective. As traumatic as this was, our campus is right in the middle of one of the most underdeveloped parts of Birmingham. You go within a 2-mile radius of our school, and there are not too many young men and women that have the luxury of going to college. So the problem our guys were faced with, again, it's reframing, it's perspective. Compared to what? If the worst thing that happens to you is you find another school to go play at, to get a degree, life is pretty good, right? So perspective is I have to do my homework to know. No, I get to do my homework because maybe that'll let me get into college and go play somewhere that I want to play. That's the perspective. I get to go hit because I'm going to get a little better, not I have to go hit today, right? Dive in, do the work, and when it gets tough, hang on, right? People say it all the time. I'm a little bit older, right? I'm 54 years old and I get tired of it, right? People say this generation doesn't have resiliency, doesn't have grit. They just gave a master class on it. I don't think it's true. But I think you can learn it, and I think you have to be intentional about it, guys. When times are tough, right? In the game, you strike out, you walk somebody, you make an error, and appreciate the fact that you don't have much time. Getting upset and getting angry, that reaction does nothing for you, right? If this is my last day, would I want to waste an inning of this game because I'm upset about something? No, I would play my tail off, right? So have that perspective. I think it's too easy, and I get the transfer portal is necessary at times in this NIL world, but there's a lot of young men too that go off to college, and the first year maybe isn't exactly what they thought it might be. And the first thing is, now it's okay nowadays to go somewhere else. And really dig in and go, can I do something more here, right now, to make my situation better? Or am I going to be a victim and say, no, it's just not working out for me here? When you go to look at schools and you're in a fortunate program, I know Danny and I know the staff is really going to guide you guys through that. And it is really good wisdom. We talk a lot about it, especially with these new rules of the 34, the transfer portal, the NIL. One reason I had no interest in doing the Division I thing was I just don't like living in that world, right? Like, I want to be a man that develops my players because that's part of what I coach for. And the challenge for me is to create the same thing at Valdosta State that I had at Birmingham Southern, where, development is at the core of it. Developing men is at the core of it. I believe that you have a stronger program if you don't use the portal too much. I believe you have a stronger program if you create an environment where the men are better for having been in it versus just transferring out at the first sign of something going wrong. And I would just encourage you young guys just to remember choices, right? I've got a choice to have a good attitude or a bad attitude, to really enjoy and invest the time on the field or in the classroom or just spend it and waste it, right? So many times we go out, and Danny will say it, it's one of our pet peeves as coaches, man, you go out and watch, it's like, God, these kids they look tired. Man, if the 40th game of the summer, is tiring to you and not special to you, you need to have a little check, right? Every time you take the field is special. Every time you take the field is fun. And if you do that, you'll separate yourselves from others. I know in the next 5-6 years, I'm not going to talk recruiting, but I will want to. And on my level, yeah, junior college recruiting is heavy. And I want to kind of buck the odds or buck the system a little bit. And I want to establish, the same thing that I've had, where I'm recruiting 4-year players that want something special and want to learn how to make good choices, that want to learn how to show up, dive in, and hang on. And I know I'll keep leaning on Danny. Thank you for allowing me to come and share. Don't want to spend much time. The documentary, I think, will be out in the fall. It was pretty cool for our guys. They were on Sports Center, NBC Nightly News, Washington Post, MLB Network, New York Times. It was pretty crazy. But, for us, all of us that leave, the one challenge I gave, as sad as this is, right? Life goes on. The challenge I gave to my players is, man, take a little bit of that flame with you wherever you go, right? Let them know why BSC was such a special place. Let them see the way that you work. Let them see the way that you care, right? And I would challenge you guys to do the same thing. It's been pretty cool over the last 17 years as we would go to a regional, we would go to a super regional, we'd go to a World Series, to see Danny posted on social media, congratulating all the 6'4" guys. But to hear them talk about the experience and laugh about the summers they had, but most of all, carry a little bit of that torch about what makes this program so special at BSC. Where I can see that's a 6'4" thing, right? I can see it. I can see by the way you're attacking the game. I can see the way that we're talking about trying to steal third base right here, right? That's a flame that they got from here, and they took with us. And that would be my challenge to you guys, wherever, whenever you move on. Take a flame of this program and let people know and see that you're a part of something special. Thank you.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with 3 wonderful players from the 17U Cougs. And
I'm Mason Gasaway, and I'm going to Georgia Southern.
I'm Grant Largent, I'm going to Samford University.
I'm Grayson McCollum, and I'm going to Kennesaw State.
And what's one funny or quirky thing you guys learned about Coach Danny this year?
Danny's got a really big personality.
Danny loves chocolate milk.
He's a perfectionist, so he gets on you about all the little things.
We'll now hand out 4 awards for each team chosen by their coaches. Pitcher of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and the Coach's Award presented by Chick-fil-A. We are most appreciative for Mondi Valdez and Chick-fil-A for their support of our student athletes. For the 8U Cougars, congratulations to Pitcher of the Year, Elliot Pyron. The Defensive Player of the Year, Saeed Grant. Offensive Player of the Year, Asher Johnson. And the Coach's Award goes to Hudson Monk. Big round of applause for you. You Cougs, Offensive Player of the Year goes to Chandler Shank. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Carter Brown. Pitcher of the Year, Sam Becca. And the Coach's Award, Zahn Bailey. Please give it up for 9 Cougs. Moving here, 9 Jags. We got Offensive Player of the Year, Kendall Humphreys. Defensive Player of the Year, Bennett Sullivan. Pitcher of the Year, Boyd Thompson. And the Coach Award, Wesley Creepa. Give it up for the 9 Jags. On to the 10U Cougars. Offensive Player of the Year, Deacon Colley. Defensive Player of the Year, Luke Pyron. Pitcher of the Year, Reed Johnson. And the Coach's Award goes to Steele Cotter. Give it up for the team. 10U Jaguars Offensive Player of the Year, Carter Griffin. Defensive Player of the Year, Maverick Price Gunter. Pitcher of the Year, Mark Brune. And the Coach's Award goes to Andrew Rensselaer.
Hello, I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with Andrew Rensselaer. And Andrew, I have some questions for you. First off, how was your season this year for the 10U Jags in 2023?
My season was great. I liked my team very much, and I liked all of my friends that I made, all the new kids that I met. It was a fun year.
11U Cougars, Offensive Player of the Year, Matthew Johnson. Defensive Player of the Year, Maverick Story. Pitcher of the Year, Miles Baker. And the Coach of the Award, Arthur Swallow. Give it up for the 11U Cougars.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with...
I'm Miles Baker. I played with the 11U Cougs.
I'm Matthew Johnson. I played for the 11U Cougs.
I'm Maverick Story. I also played for the 11U Cougs.
And what's some funny things about Coach Tuck?
Coach Tucker, he is a good coach, but he likes the worst baseball team ever, Los Angeles Dodgers.
I definitely agree with you.
On the 11U Jags, we have Offensive Player of the Year, Noah Thompson. Defensive Player of the Year, William Sutter. Pitcher of the Year, Holden Norgard. And the Coach's Award goes to Weston Ford. On to the 12U Cougars, Offensive Player of the Year, Mr. Joby Brumbelow. Defensive Player of the Year, Cade Holzman. Pitcher of the Year, Grayson Lightseek. Coach's Award goes to Cade Tuthram. Give it up for the 12U.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with...
Brantley Roper.
For the...
12U Cougs.
And Brentley, how was your experience this year with the 12U Cougs?
I mean, yeah, I loved it. I loved every part of it. I love 643.
On to the 12U Jags, Offensive Player of the Year, Gavin Chastain. Defensive Player of the Year, Jace Ashley. Pitcher of the Year, Slade Hughes. And the Coach's Award goes to Grayson Dottie. On to the 12U Tigers, we have Hunter Bates, Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, Aiden McCray. Pitcher of the Year, Christopher Cook. And the Coach's Award goes to Everett Allman. Big round of applause for the 12U Panthers, Offensive Player of the Year, Avi Abdurrahman. Defensive Player of the Year, Ethan Zhao. Pitcher of the Year, Michael O'Brien. And the Coach's Award goes to Grant Durham. Give it up for the 12U Panthers. U Cougars, Offensive Player of the Year, Hudson Ritchie. Defensive Player of the Year, Mario Esparza. Pitcher of the Year, Ethan High. The Coach's Award goes to Wyatt Newsom. Big round of applause. U Jaguars, Offensive Player of the Year, Chase Mickelson. Defensive Player of the Year, Blake Bickerton. Pitcher of the Year goes to Aiden Shin. And the Coach's Award, Dylan Weems. Quick round of applause for the team. Our 13U Tigers, Offensive Player of the Year goes to Jacob Jansen. Defensive Player of the Year is Alex Adair. Pitcher of the Year, Carson Cantrell. And the Coach Award goes to Austin Lacuzon. Give it up for Coach Tigers. Moving on to the 13U Panthers, Offensive Player of the Year, Branson Kaiser. Defensive Player of the Year, Luke Bouchard. Pitcher of the Year, Nicholas Brooks Alt. And the Coach Award goes to Edgar de Luna Rios. Give it up for the 13 Panthers. 14U Cougars. Offensive Player of the Year, Ty Page. Defensive Player of the Year, Max Bowman. Pitcher of the Year, Jackson Bredesen. And the Coach Award goes to Cal Pearson. All right, 14 Jags. Offensive Player of the Year, Judson Pankow. Defensive Player of the Year, Drake Huey. Pitcher of the Year, Max Lopez. And the Coach Award goes to Jack Faust. Give it up to 14 Jags.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with.
And I'm Max Lopez.
I'm Kyle Coleman.
And what is one interesting or funny thing that you guys learned about Coach Holly last year?
The way he coached us, he coached us in a fun way, and like when he would get mad, he used to snap pens. We would usually laugh because it just, it was cool.
Yeah, honestly, I think one of the funny things is him snapping his pens. I mean, the ink just going everywhere, you know, and I think he's also a pretty funny guy. He likes food a lot.
14U Tigers, Offensive Player of the Year, Kyrie Mayfield Jr. Defensive Player of the Year, Connor Patel. Pitcher of the Year, Joshua Wong. And the Coach Award goes to Daniel Kubides. Give it up for the 14 Tigers. On to our 14 Panthers, Offensive Player of the Year, Hudson Smith. Defensive Player of the Year, Jay Johnson. Pitcher of the Year goes to Brady Half. Coach Award goes to Lincoln Sasser. Give it up for 14 Panthers.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with my brother, Amari Griffin. And Amari, how was it in your season with the 15U Cougs this year?
Oh, it was great. My favorite part was the brotherhood with the team. Really liked the bond we created. It was a really cool year. We did a lot of cool things. And, excited for 16U year to start.
15U Cougars, Offensive Player of the Year, Frankie Boyle. Defensive Player of the Year, Jaden Whiteside. Pitcher of the Year, Amari Griffin. And the Coach Award goes to Kyle Montgomery. Give it up for 15 Cougs. Moving on to our 15U Jaguars, Offensive Player of the Year, Christian Myers. Defensive Player of the Year, Michael Prather. Pitcher of the Year goes to Aiden Andrade. And the Coach Award, Parker Burse. Give it up for 15 Jags. To you Tigers, Offensive Player of the Year, Owen Tarantino. Defensive Player of the Year, Lane Taylor. Pitcher of the Year, Baylor Rogers. Coach Award goes to Quinn Brown. Do it up. 15 16U Panthers Offensive Player of the Year, Colin McKeon. Defensive Player of the Year, Jackson Levakovich. Pitcher of the Year goes to Daniel Lee. And the Coach's Award, Ryan Liu. Give it up for the 15 Panthers. 16U Cougars Offensive Player of the Year, Jack Richardson. Defensive Player of the Year, Gabriel Hester. Pitcher of the Year, Joe Montevo. And the Coach's Award, Todd Haley. 16U Tigers Offensive Player of the Year, Luke Romo. Defensive Player of the Year, Thomas Williams. Pitcher of the Year goes to Nick Bobrowski. And Coach's Award is Derek Race. Get up to 16 Tigers.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with Derek Race. And Derek, what's one funny or cool thing that you learned about Coach Hawkins?
So I learned last year that he played in the minor leagues for the Twins organization, and he's a pretty frequent poster on Instagram, and he had some funny pictures out on there. So our team last year, we found some pictures of him, and he made it our group chat wallpaper. So we always just looked up to him too. He was a great coach, and yeah, he's a really great guy to be around.
16U Jaguars Offensive Player of the Year, Braden Goolsby. Defensive Player of the Year, Jalen Allen. Pitcher of the Year, Rocco Baxter. The Coach's Award goes to Cade Sullivan. U Cougars Offensive Player of the Year, Grayson McCollum. Defensive Player of the Year, Carson Vick. Pitcher of the Year, Jackson Rose. And the Coach's Award goes to Grant Larger. Give it up to 17 years.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with...
I'm John Stetzer, and I play with the 17 Cougs.
And congratulations on going to FSU this year, and what are you most looking forward to?
I'm just most looking forward to building a bond with the guys there and having a journey at FSU.
17 Jags, Offensive Player of the Year, Braden Lightsey. Defensive Player of the Year, Connor Carlson. Pitcher of the Year, Will Schmidt. The Coach's Award goes to Robert Hicks.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with Will Schmidt. And Will, what stood out this season?
The bond I had with my teammates this year was really cool, coming to the program for the first time, and I also had a really good season on the mound.
17 Tigers. We have Offensive Player of the Year, Jake Medley. Defensive Player of the Year, Davis Peterson. Pitcher of the Year, Alex Johns. The Coach's Award goes to Max Berlin. Give up to 17 Jags. Finally, our 18U Cougs, Offensive Player of the Year, Nate Jones. Defensive Player of the Year, Michael McCabe. Pitcher of the Year, Fletcher Peacock. The Coach's Award, Gibson Thompson. 18U Cougs.
Our 8 to 14U Coach of the Year is someone that expresses great leadership and ability to maximize the team's output. Does a great job pushing his players to be their best self while also getting them to buy in on being a great teammate and working for the guys next to him. This coach does a great job developing his players' skill sets while also being a great role model and helping his players mature as young men. If you ever got to be around the 14U Jaguars at all, you would really understand how this reflects on every single player on that roster. They competed pitch in and pitch out, and they believed they belonged in the biggest moment, whether it was a 14 or 15U event, going up against some of the top talents in both age groups. One of his assistants said he learned 3 things from Holly: accountability, game managing, and also how to invest in very cheap pens, as Holly is known to break up to 3 a game. Congratulations to our 8 to 14U Coach of the Year, Austin Holloway.
Coach Holly, could you tell us one of the highlights from this year on either of your 2 teams?
Oh man, it's just, I mean, when you play 80 games throughout a season, you know, there's a lot of good moments in there. But honestly, just being around those guys and seeing the camaraderie, seeing the chemistry that's built, and you know, obviously there's wins along the way, but being a part of a special group is really the biggest highlight.
Our 15 to 18U Coach of the Year is one of the most level-headed guys I've ever been around in this game. He has a very relaxed but confident way of addressing players, coaches, umpires that really helps him earn the respect for people in this game quickly. One of his assistant coaches have talked about how much he learned from this guy, and it actually even made him want to take his own team going into this year. Coach of the Year has a huge impact on everyone around him, players, coaches, anyone. This coach communicates very clearly and has high expectations for his players. His players embrace this and push themselves each day to be better. He has a great ability to use his players fairly, which is not easy when you have 15, 16 studs on a team together. He knows how to prepare his team for all situations and get them to buy in on the team game. We heard about the 15 Cougs Team of the Year this year and their incredible performance they had winning the MPI, going deep in just about every 15 or 16U event. They're really fun to watch, and their leader is much deserving of Coach of the Year, Tucker Breen.
Among all of his national championship teams, Coach John Wooden found one thing to be especially true of his teams. A player who makes the team great is better than a great player. The more players that make the team great, the better the team. With full understanding of the importance of a good team and good coaches, it is now time to award our Pitcher and Player of the Year honors for a handful of 6'4" players who helped make this organization and their teams great. This year there were 2 pitchers and 2 players who had tremendous seasons, one in the younger age groups 8 to 14U and one in the older age groups 15 to 18U. To announce the 2024 Pitcher of the Year honors to the top performing pitcher, 8 to 14, in the entire organization, please welcome back to the podium, Coach of the Year, Austin Holloway.
The player receiving this award today has been a really good pitcher at 6'4" for many years. He has consistently been one of the best athletes on his team from year to year as well. This player totally could do whatever he wanted to do in any sport, whether that be baseball, basketball, or football. But when he steps on the mound, he's a different type of competitor. He knows he belongs there, he knows he's better than whoever's in the batter's box, and will do whatever it takes to get the job done. I'm going to share some stats from this year. He had 24 appearances, 19 of which were starts, which led to a 1.71 ERA across 82 innings pitched. He had 89 strikeouts and 32 walks with a 1.99 batting average against. Of his 24 appearances, he gave up 0 earned runs in 16 of them. One of the cooler stats I was able to find is he had 13 pickoffs throughout the year as well. So whenever he got into some trouble, he was able to minimize the damage and get himself out of it. Coming into this season, I knew this kid was an incredible pitcher, but I'd never seen him pitch before, so I didn't know what type of pitcher I had. In the fall, he was overpowering. He was 79 to 80 with a fastball that sank a little bit. He controlled it on both sides of the plate, but his secondary stuff was just show me pitches just to get the guys off the fastball. In the spring, it was totally different. Fastball velo jumped to about 85 or so, but this wasn't why he was getting so many outs. He was able to throw 2-0 breaking balls, 3-1 changeups, and pitch backwards whenever he wanted to, and then he had 85 in his back pocket. Each tournament, we would pick out the toughest opponent, and then we would just flip him the baseball, whether that was the Birmingham Stars to Kane Southeast to pitch against the #1 15U team in the country. The same team that went on to win the 15U World with that. This kid went 4 innings with 6 Ks and competed his butt off. Without further ado, the 8 to 14U Pitcher of the Year from the 14U Jags, Mr. Bryce Floyd.
The 2024 Pitcher of the Year honors now to the top performing pitcher 15 to 18U in our organization. Hall of Famer and former Braves pitcher Greg Maddux said, "The reason I think I'm a good pitcher is I locate my fastball and I change speeds, period. That's what you do to pitch. That's what pitchers have to do to win games." This year's Pitcher of the Year has a strong reputation at Aviation Sports Complex. The words his teammates and coaches use to describe him include focused, smart, tough, precise, willing, selfless, a winner, a worker, relentless, and one teammate noted, he's pretty good, too. His calm yet intense demeanor, immaculate pitchability, and diligent work ethic all set this player apart from his peers. His trust and love towards his coaches, his teammates, and his overall process are one of the most impressive things about this talented young athlete. His coaches and peers marvel over the standards this guy sets for himself and how he shows up locked in each and every day to meet and often exceed those standards. Lastly, he has a grasp of a quality we see in a lot of great baseball players. He's got a short memory. Where the pitch before was a strikeout or a home run, this competitor's body language stayed the same and he was right back on the mound staring down the next hitter saying, "Come and get it." Not that stats matter, but by the way, if you're wondering, in 53 innings, this pitcher struck out 67 batters while only walking 22. Over the course of the fall and spring, he only allowed 7 earned runs and 21 hits in those 53 innings. He recorded a first pitch strike against 70% of opposing hitters as they batted a gloomy 112 against our ace. His team only lost 1 game he pitched in all year, and that happened to be the #1 17 team in the country, so not a bad team to lose to. It's safe to say when this guy was on the bump, his coaches and teammates felt fairly confident in their ability to win that day. I could go on and on about stats and feats that this pitcher's accomplished not only this season, but over the span of his 3 seasons at 6'4", None of my descriptions will really do him much justice for just how cinematic and dominant this guy is every time he walks up on the hill. Far and above his pristine talents, he's a confident, humble young man who loves his teammates dearly. Please join me in congratulating the Pitcher of the Year from the 16 Cougars, Carson. To award the 2024 Player of the Year honor to the top performing player 8 to 14U in our organization this season, please welcome back to the podium, TJ Payne.
So I was really lucky this year to coach this Player of the Year. Here to say he's one of the most special kids I've truly been around in, like just in this game at all. I mean, I learned so much from him myself, truly, as a coach this year. There were about 10 times, at least 10 times this year, we'd be on the field, and the other coach would just ask, nobody has more fun on the field than he does, huh? No, you're 100%. He has kind of that ability that Coach Jan was talking about, right, where it didn't matter what it was, didn't matter if it was a pool play game, one of our big conditioning practices, against the top 10 team. I mean, he came with the same attitude every single day. And to that point, nobody had more fun doing everything he did. Never did you see him without a smile on his face, except after his first strikeout of the year. That didn't happen until May, about mid-May when we played up in the 13U event. Yeah, that was, everybody kind of gave him his space for that one. But it was pretty impressive it took that long for it to happen. This kid was new to the program this year, but it did not take long for him to step right in like he was at home. He became a leader for the 12U Cougs, who went on to win 87 games this year, and the confidence he carried at all times just reflected on everybody else. He was the first player to the plate to celebrate another's home run, the first one meeting somebody on the way back after a strikeout, first one to pick them up after an error, all that type of stuff. For anyone that got to be around him, was really lucky to see and experience how he handled himself and his business. It was really, really just impressive for any 12-year-old to kind of just carry himself the way he did on a daily basis. He went up and played with the 13 Cougs in World Bat, where he hit a home run and threw 4 strong innings in bracket play for them. Like I said, he had tons of fun, but he worked. He got all that on a daily basis, everything that was asked of him, he did. I mean, never complained about a single thing, I don't think, all year. no matter how many times I made him run laps just because. And I mean, truly, he loves this game, and he wanted to really just love this place. Now we talk about stats, because we all those stats, and these ones are pretty impressive. So, 168 at-bats this year, batting average 613, slug 1200, so an OPS of 1880, 103 hits, 21 home runs, 101 RBIs, 113 runs, 43 walks to 11 Ks, 22 stolen bases. On the mound, 27 innings pitched, only 5 walks with 43 Ks, 2 flat ERA, a 1.1 WHIP, and a really cool one was runners only had a 25% success rate when stealing when he was pitching. So he controlled the running game really, really well, especially at 12 years old. Defensively, played both corner positions really, really well, played really good outfield, even played middle infield at times, and even covered all 9 positions this year. Please join me in congratulating this year's 8 to 14U Player of the Year, James Whittingham.
Next, to award the 2024 Player of the Year honor to our top performing player in our 15 to 18 age groups in the whole organization, please welcome Tucker Green, aka Coach of the Year, back to the podium.
All right. This guy is someone I got to spend this past year around, and it was a whole lot of fun to watch. I put him in so many tough and big spots, both offensively and along the mound, and I can't count the number of times he came through for us. He came through so many times that a team from the #1 team in the country once said to him, this is 2 years in a row that we can't get this kid out. He has confident and calm demeanor about him. That is until he executes his job and sometimes shows a little bit of emotion. He has some impressive stats on the mound, acting both as a starter and a reliever. I'm going to share some with you guys. He had a team high 42 innings pitched, team best ERA of a 1.16, team best WHIP of 102, 0 wild pitches, and of the 28 runners he inherited entering a game, only 6 of them scored. He not only had some impressive pitching stats, he also produced at the plate as a switch hitter, hitting at the top of the lineup for us every single day. He also had a lot of team best. A couple of those were batting average of 448, OBP of 533, OPS of 1076, slugged 453, 52 hits, 38 RBIs, 19 of those were with 2 outs. Of the swings he took at the plate, he only swung and missed 5% of the time. And of the 50 games he played, only 5 games he did not get on base. I can't say enough about this kid and what kind of teammate he is. He leads by example, and he is the type of kid that we all want to coach. This year's player of the year for the 15 to 18U age groups from the 15 Cougs, Evan Brand.
I'm Carter Griffin, your 643 correspondent, and I'm here with Evan Brand for the 15U Cougars. And Evan, you've been playing at 643 since you were 8. How has the organization grown since you've been?
It's grown a lot. You know, when I was 8, started off a little smaller, and then as I've gotten older, definitely had better connections with teammates and just grown a lot of relationships, even with coaches, because every year I've had a new coach. So definitely blessed to have new coaches every year and stuff, as well as teammates.
And how's your experience winning the MPI?
It was great. A good team effort in the MPI. For the championship game, you know, I was DH, so didn't get a lot of experience in that game, but with the beginning games, definitely got a lot of experience in there.
His first Courage Award to a very special and inspiring young man, Carson Roseman. We lost Carson on March 1st, 2017 after a brave battle with inoperable brain cancer. In 2017, we renamed the award after Carson. Although Carson is gone, we will not soon forget his passion for the game of baseball and the courage he displayed during his cancer fight. Each year we raise funds for cancer research in memory of Carson. The Carson Roseman Courage Award both honors and remembers the brave life of our favorite number 3. The Carson Roseman Courage Award is a special honor given to an individual that demonstrates great strength in the face of adversity. This award is granted based on merit and not necessarily given every year. To Today we share the story of a strong and inspiring student athlete that surely Carson would endorse for this honor. One day this past winter, after being in the gym, a 16-year-old comes home and says, "I have this lump in my collarbone, and it kind of hurts." Many 16-year-olds may not have said anything, probably thinking it was just a tweak, which they hoped would go away. Thankfully, he listened to his body and instinct that told him something just wasn't quite right. Come to find out, that small lump that was sore turned out to be thyroid cancer. By the time this stud athlete had noticed the lump, it had already spread from his thyroid to most of the lymph nodes on one side of his neck. It took about 3 weeks to diagnose, and about 2 months later, he was getting wheeled into the operating room for a 9-hour surgery, which was followed by recovery and radiation treatment over the next couple months. While 5 months isn't a long time, it's hard to imagine all that was going through his head. This kid is an everyday grinder. He's a kid who stays on top of not only his schoolwork, but his practices, his workouts, his training. This is a kid who's not only accustomed to working hard, but working smart. He's a leader, he's an energy guy. It was killing him to stay down. He's one of those guys who pushes his level of commitment, constantly raising the bar and going above and beyond to work at his craft. Suddenly, the everyday activities he loved were stripped away from his grasp. However, you wouldn't have known anything was going on as this man chose to keep his focus solely on what he could control. His energy, attitude, and perspective, which kept him positive when many others may have lost hope. There are many stories this young man could tell about how hard things were. We're talking sleepless nights in the hospital, a detailed recovery process, the no sodium diet, the excess amount of weight he lost. But he and his dad did not offer those out when describing this journey. This brave 16-year-old did not want attention brought to him. He knew of others with cancer, many of whom he thought were worse off, and also believed God put this challenge in his life for a reason. Pushing through his hospital stay was tough. Our guy was anxiously optimistic to finally get home and begin his recovery process. On the way home from the hospital, he asked his parents to stop by the high school as his team was getting ready for a big game that night. It was very important to our Courage Award winner to thank his coaches and teammates for their support and spend time with them fresh out of the hospital stay. In a time when it had been perfectly understandable to be worried about himself, this guy wanted nothing more than to go be a part of his team, the true 643 way. Back home, he did as much as he could by himself, making it clear to his parents that he did not want much help, he did not want pain medication. He got back to school as soon as he could, not wanting any special treatment from his teachers for missed work. He could not wait to be cleared to start throwing and get back to moving around the baseball field with his teammates, playing the game he oh so loves. Although he missed a lot of baseball in school and things weren't exactly the same as before the tumor, this winter knew he had to get back to living his best life. He remained focused on his schoolwork, leaning on his teammates, coaches, teachers, and friends, and his dad says he relied heavily on his faith. He's always been more of a quiet leader and continues to be. He leads by example. While the scar on his neck is a visible reminder of what he's been through, it's what inside him and his faith that push him to be a positive influence on everyone he meets. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join me in proudly recognizing the winner of the 2024 Carson Roseman Courage Award from the 16U Jaguars and Mount Parent High School, Cade Saldi.
How has the organization grown from 2007 to now?
Wow, great question, Carter. I tell you, it has grown slowly, steadily, but very strongly, which is great. Back in 2007, we had two little teams, a 9U squad and a 16U squad. But luckily for us, it was an amazing group of student athletes and families that kind of bought into what we were about. Practice right, work hard, stay on the academics, be great life people, life kids, life student athletes, and let's see how good we can get. And those two teams put us on the map in a hurry, and then honestly, they became our best advertising. And then other families, other coaches started asking questions about, hey, how can we become a part of 643? And then we slowly started building that, where we would never make too many teams. It was more about having the right coaches in place and the right amount of kids that wanted to play in a certain age group, which led to, sometimes, hey, now we've got 5 different age groups. Now there's 7 different age groups. Now we've got 2 teams in an age group. But it's never been forced. It's always been about, do we have the right coaches in place and the right student athletes that want to get on a journey of working hard, knowing that it's not about necessarily now, but it's about let's be our best selves now and keep working towards where that can get us. And now it's brought us to 2024, where we just finished our 17th year and heading into 2024-25, where I think we've got now 32 teams coming between all the age groups, and just couldn't be more proud of just how everybody, the student athletes, coaches, parents who have kind of bought into what this is about, has just led to so many incredible stories. And now that's led us to another, really fun, exciting banquet in which we're about to do right now.
Last one, going to the older guys, ages 15 through 18. This outstanding student athlete has been competing and represented 643 for 10 straight years. At 10U and 11U, he was one of those Defense Award winners. He's been a Georgia Top 100 high school player in 10th grade and 11th grade. He was All-Region in 10th grade and 11th grade. He was All-Cobb County in 11th grade. Has been a varsity letterman for his first 3 years of high school baseball. He has led his high school team and 643 team in stolen bases almost every year. He's a PG Top 500 player in the country. He's one of the top defensive outfielders at 6'4" and in the state of Georgia. He's crafty also on the mound, and he's a machine on the mound by just pumping strikes over and over. He's an offensive weapon in every way that you can imagine, and is worth sharing why one more time. He made that 2024 Marucci all-offensive team for many reasons, but mainly it was because he would drive pitchers and defenses crazy. He would work an 0-2 count back to a walk, to a hit by pitch. He'd move a runner. He'd turn into it and get hit by the way. Just whatever it took, he just did it. He'd lay down a bunt when asked to, or just when he saw the opportunity when that 3B was back. He would go oppo base hit when they pitched him away. He would turn the average long single into a double. Every gap ball that should have been a double was a triple. He would beat out the infield hit. He stole second and third at will all summer long. He played with his eyes and head on a swivel, which allowed him great reads and jumps on balls in the dirt and when defenders just weren't clean. And oh yes, he had home run power. This kid has lightning in his hands and wrists and forearms, and turned around all velocity with a short, quick stroke, but also tracked off-speed pitches as good as anyone we had. He's always sprinting on and off the field, brings positive and nutty fun energy to the dugout in every practice of every game. His teammates love him, his coaches love him. I asked his high school coach for a few words, and he said, he's a hard worker, he's a great teammate. He always brings that positive attitude on and off the field. He's a leader. He's not afraid to ask questions when learning something new. If you're going to make it in baseball or do well in life, you have to be willing to learn, work hard, and stay optimistic, and he does all of them. Now there's just a couple of little things that I'm going to share before announcing it. So while this guy's working his tail off, becoming all that, right? Think about this for all of us that say that we don't have time to do things or that there's not enough time in a day. This young man is a full IB student, which is International Baccalaureate with a 4.5 GPA. He's on the National Honor Society member, he's a Bader Club member, Cobb Youth Leadership member, serves on the FCA Leadership Committee, and is an active member of the youth group at the Marietta First United Methodist Church. And oh yeah, is also student council representing for the senior class at his high school. He is entering his senior year and recently just committed to play baseball and study engineering at Georgia Southern University. And he had options, and then he got to choose where he wanted to go, which is pretty awesome. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce the 2024 6'4", 15 through 18-year-old Mr. 6'3" Award to 17U Cougar, Mason Gasaway.
This award ceremony is all about shining a light on our players, their talents, and accomplishments, creating a memorable event for all to enjoy as a 6'4" baseball family. Thank you all, players, parents, family members, and coaches for being here today. Thank you for making the 2024 season so successful, and thank you for your individual contributions that helped make 6'4" an outstanding organization. Thank you especially to Coach Weisberg for being our honored guest and speaker. Thank you to Tim McCullough for creating an electric video reel of Charlie's legendary collegiate season. Thank you to Charlie as well for taking the time to interview with us. Thank you to Marucci, New Balance, and Chick-fil-A for their support of our student athletes. Thank you to Pope High School for providing us with this wonderful space today. Special thanks out to Brendan Griffin for a lot of video work behind the scenes, as well as Carter Griffin conducting some interviews in the lobby. Special thanks to longtime 6'4" brand ambassador and the staple of this organization, David Carr, for leading the way behind the scenes. Thank you to the 6'4" staff, Rush, Jamal, Marsha, TJ, Tucker, Tyler, Brett, Miles, Zach, Austin, Jay, and Danny for working extra hours to make this day possible over the last couple months. On behalf of the entire 643 staff and board of directors for the 643 Foundation, I thank you all one last time for taking the time to celebrate the 2024 season on this day. Have a great evening.